Hello everybody and welcome. This pendulum reading, is a tricky one. And I say that because YouTube and its censors are very careful about what they allow to be produced. They obviously are connected in very high places. And this reading is about someone who is in a very high place. And this reading is about this man. I'm going to show you the photograph. Yeah. Throw tomatoes at it if you wish. So I'm going to refer to him from now on as J.E., just so as not to offend the delicacies of the YouTube censors. So this photograph has surfaced. And what I'm asking, is this man now in Tel Aviv? I want you to have a good look at the photo. So J.E. is a multi-millionaire financer, and he provided services for the elites, all those who were willing to pay for island holidays. And his staff, these are the people he employed, they entered into financial transactions with those who were willing to pay. One of his employees was a lady called VG. I'll write her name on the screen for you, but I'm not going to say it. She supposedly removed herself from this world in April 2025, almost a year ago. And there really are many questions that I want to ask about this, because it stinks. You can smell it from a mile off. So I have to use code to read this, because these people, despite their fall from grace and their victimhood, are very, very protected. And I want to find out why and by whom. So J.E., that's in this photograph. I'll refer to him as J.E. I'll refer to this lady as GM, Miss Maxwell, residing in a penitentiary somewhere, perhaps. And this lady is Miss Jouffre. And I've put her name on the screen as well. So you're going to have J.E., GM, and VG. So when I ask the questions, I'll put their photograph in the corner so you know who they are. So I'm going to turn the camera down and have it facing on the table, and we'll do this read. Okay, well, you can see what we're set up with here. I have some beautiful tiger's eye here, and this is just to give me grounding, because I can tell you, isn't it lovely, that the energy regarding this reading is shocking. Some more tiger's eye there. It's absolutely shocking. I'm going to put all of these at the side, but they are still going to be with me. And I'm going to be using Jupiter. That's this really, really lovely pyrite. So this is Jupiter. And it has been charging and resting on this. This is a piece of mookaite. And the reason why I chose it, it's called brecciated mookaite. And the reason why I chose this, just look at all the paths in this, all the different breaks and patterns. And that tells you what a very complicated weave this whole story is. Okay, this is beautiful Jupiter. This beautiful pyrite. Okay, Jupiter. Okay, let's get the energy going. Okay, Jupiter. J.E. supposedly removed himself from this world in prison in 2019. Is J.E. still alive under an assumed name? East-west means yes. It's quite clear. East-west means yes. Thank you. The man in the photograph, I'm going to put that photograph in the corner now. The man in the photograph is being claimed to be J.E. in Tel Aviv. Is this J.E.? Which way are we going? East-west. Jupiter says yes. Thank you. Right. Is J.E. in the witness program? Is J.E. in the witness program? Oh, that's a yes too. Right. Was J.E. protected by a previous president? I'm particularly thinking of a man from Arkansas, who was represented in Arkansas. Thank you. Right. Was J.E. being protected by a foreign power? Foreign to the United States. Was J.E. protected by a foreign power? Okay. Now, thank you. Would that foreign power be Israel? Was J.E. protected by Israel? Oh, look. That's a no. Was J.E. protected by Russia? Oh, here we have it. So he effectively was protected by the Russians. How interesting. Okay. Was J.E. a businessman who sold the secret films he made to blackmail his clients and guests to the highest bidder? Were these special requests? Was he being asked by government agencies to sell these films that he made to the highest bidder? In other words, alphabet agencies, we want this about that person or the other person, will you sell it? East-west, that's a yes. He paid to the highest bidder. He was a businessman. He couldn't care less about nationalities. It was all about money. And his commodity were people and their inadequacies and their failings. There we go. Now I want to move on to VG. That's the lady in the corner who supposedly removed herself last April. So VG, Virginia Giuffre. Is she alive and well under a different name? Is VG alive and well under a different name? That's quite clear. East-West says yes. Okay, thank you. So the name Virginia Giuffre, the name VG, is that no longer in use? Is that name now dead? Is that name now no longer in use? That name has been retired. I don't know why I'm going to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Does VG go by the name of Alison? Does VG now go by the name of Alison? I'm getting Alison Charnell or Charnot, Chapman, something like that. That's her new name. It's Alison. Oh, interesting. Thank you. I just picked the name up psychically as I was reading on there. Oh dear. Was the supposed exit in April by VG, where you see her in a hospital bed there, was it a plea for her estranged children to visit her before she went into the witness program? Now her children wouldn't have anything to do with her. So was it a desperate plea for her estranged children, here we go, to visit before she went into the witness program? So the photograph I'm going to show you up in the top corner here, up on the left, is of her in this hospital bed, and she was so ill, there was everything wrong with her, and they needed to visit her because she had 4 days left to live. But for me, that rose very strong suspicions in that nobody's given 4 days to live. You've either got 24 hours, a few weeks, a few months, or a year or two. Nobody says you've got 4 days. You might have 9 days left or whatever. You're never given that time frame. It was ridiculous. The photograph showed her with poor makeup on. There's no swelling. It's just makeup, in my opinion. Interesting, isn't it? Now her family and her brothers, of course, are very interested to know where she is, because there's obviously a rather large sum of money from a will to be sorted. So, is VG still in Australia? Is VG still in Australia? That's a no. That's a no. Is VG still in Australia under her new name? No. Okay. Is VG in the United States? Is VG in the United States under her new name? Is VG, because she is an American citizen, she holds an American passport? And the answer is yes. And the state she lives in begins with an A. Is that correct? Does the state that she lives in begin with an A? I'm just picking that up psychically. That's a yes. Is that state Alaska? Does VG live in Alaska now under her new name? She does. Does VG live off-grid? Does VG live off-grid? Does VG live off the grid? No. No. So is she hiding in a city like Anchorage? In plain sight? Saying Anchorage? All the A's. That's what I'm getting. All the A's. Anchorage. America, Alaska, Anchorage. There you'll find her. Alison. Now, was VG a business partner of JE? Remember, she tried to claim that she was a victim, but was she actually a business partner of JE? Was VG a business partner of JE? Fancy that now. Okay, I'm going to have to give that just a couple of seconds. Just have to give my hands a break because it's quite a difficult position to be holding the pendulum in. It's quite awkward, but it gets very tiring, so I give my hands a break. Okay. So, Jupiter, thank you. Is VG masquerading as a victim in order to shield our eyes from the fact that she was also a willing business partner and trafficker? There you go. The answer is yes. It's one of those age-old things. If you enter into silly games, you win silly prizes. Now we're going to move on to GM. This is the photograph of her. I'm going to put in the corner. Another one of the freak show. Was Ghislaine Maxwell, GM, also a business partner of VG? Yes. Was GM an equal partner with JE and VG? That's a no. She was not an equal partner. Right. Okay. Is GM an agent for a foreign government like her father was? He was a Mossad spy. That's a no. So she's not an agent for Mossad. Okay. So was GM working for a British spy agency? Alphabet agency. Was GM working for a British spy agency? No. Was GM working for the Chia? Begins with a C, ends in an A, middle letter I. Was GM working for the Chia? No. Again, a no. Was GM working... Oh, steady. Was GM working for the FBI? Was GM working for the FBI? Well, hello. She was working for the FBI. There you have it. How interesting. I had it down as CIA. That is so interesting. So she was FBI. Okay. Is GM still working for the FBI? That's going to beg a later question. Right, okay. Now, is GM the real boss, and JE and VG, were they her underlings? Thought so. I thought so. She was the one calling the shots. And JE, we're going to ask, so did JE work for GM? Did JE work for Ghislaine Maxwell? Holy heck. We've all read this wrong. Everybody has been saying that she worked for him. She's claiming she worked for him. Now we're having it. So is GM, Miss Maxwell, still languishing in a jail in Texas? We're led to believe that she's in a soft prison in Texas. Is she still there? Well, there's a surprise. Okay. Is her life in danger from the powers that be within the prison system? No. No. Okay. Will she cut a deal like J.E. did and find herself sprung from prison? Okay, that's a yes. I have this theory that she's going to claim that she's got some terminal illness and that she'll have to be treated and released, but in fact, there's nothing terminal about it. Is that correct? That's how they're going to get her out. My gosh. My goodness me. It's getting carried away, isn't it? That's a big yes. Okay. Is the info on the JE case being released as though it came from GM leaking, when in fact the FBI had the info from her spying years ago? Huh. Well, what a surprise. Isn't it interesting? Absolutely. If we take everything that is being said on this as gospel, and that the pyrite, Jupiter, is 100% correct, then everybody's lying. So was VG working for an alphabet agency? Do you know, this Jupiter pyrite, this is burning a hole in my hand. The energy is incredible. And that's a yes. She was working for an alphabet agency. Now I'm going to use an acronym again. Was VG working for the CHIA? Begins with a C, ends with an A, middle letter I. Was VG working for CHIA? Well, oh, hello. That's a yes. Okay. Was VG, Virginia Giuffre, was she working for the FBI? Clearly, no. Clearly a no. She was working for the CIA. Whoops, said it. YouTube will have a fit. Oh dear. All right. So is the book that supposedly written by VG with Was it with the collusion of VG to cover up the fact the FBI would need to give VG a new place in the witness program? What I'm asking is the book an FBI fabrication, a cover story? I think we need to look at the links of the lady who is the author of that, who've been protesting a great deal about people finding her original manuscript. Now we move on to this little piggy. AMW, I think we have to call him. Piggy number 1. Was Andrew the chosen fall guy to protect the elites? In other words, a vile but useful and useless idiot. Yes. A dimwit. See, he's so entitled he didn't realise that. Now I'm going to ask some add-on questions because it's come to light that the royal family is having an emergency meeting because of Piggy number 1 up in the corner there and his antics, and they are having an emergency meeting, and my spidey senses tell me to ask a question. Is this emergency meeting regarding Andrew, Piggy number 1? That's a yes. The royal family. Is the emergency meeting also going to discuss abdication? Yes. Okay. In order to shut this story down, is King Charles thinking about and wanting to abdicate to protect the monarchy? Yes. Okay. Is the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, telling him to stay put and hold the line and not to abdicate? Yeah. He thinks that the clean break would work, while she's saying, no, you bloody stay put. Okay, what about Andrew? Does Andrew want his brother to abdicate? As if the moron should care. Does Andrew Mountbatten Windsor want his brother Charles to abdicate? Oh, good Lord. There's a surprise. The answer to that is no. Okay, I thought he sat on his brain. Right, what about the dimwit in California, Prince Harry? Does he want his father to abdicate? Oh, of course he does, because he is the turkey who's voting for Christmas. Absolutely. What does he think's going to happen when William takes charge? He absolutely wants his father to abdicate. The turkey that votes for Christmas, called Prince Harry. What a dumbo. Now, what about the main man, the man that it matters for, Prince William? Does he want his father to abdicate? No, he doesn't want this job, you know. Being king, he does not want this job. I don't believe he wants it. Definitely not. Is that because William wants some more time as a relatively free man before ascending to the throne. Yes. His life will change forever. When he becomes king, his life will change forever. And he's relatively young. He wants to have time with his family. Okay. So the question is, Charles is thinking about and wondering if he should abdicate to save the monarchy. Princess Royal, Princess Anne says no. Harry, of course, says yes. Andrew also says no. What about the other brother? The Duke of Edinburgh. Edward. Does Edward want Charles to abdicate? Jupiter says no. That's a no. That's a no. There we go. So, the monarch, the king or queen, whoever's in charge, the monarch, their oath is to God, and they're anointed supposedly through God's will, and that's why they don't generally want to abdicate. But I think, am I right in thinking, I'm going to ask this again, is Charles' thoughts on abdication because of his cancer? No. Is King Charles's thoughts on abdication because he thinks his position is untenable? No. Is Charles's thoughts on abdication to appease the population and to have a clean break for the monarchy? In other words, to protect and save the monarchy. Well, there you go. That's why. There we go. So the question is, will Andrew be prosecuted? Will Andrew be prosecuted? That's a yes. Oh, good. Of course, I don't have an opinion on this. Now, what about VG? Will she be discovered? Will her new identity be discovered? That's a yes. Okay, thank you. Will J.E., will he be denounced and will he be revealed to be still alive? Yes. Okay. What about number 42? Will number 42 ever be prosecuted? No. No. Oh, well. He'll get away with it. Well, I'm going to leave it there. And that is, I want to say thank you to Jupiter, to the pyrite. And I'm going to put it back on its appreciated moocat. And thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm just going to close out with a few words, see what you think of that. Well, what do you think? Do you think that they are innocent until proved guilty? Do you think there's cases to answer for each and every one of them? Do you think they're all liars? What do you think? I know what I think. I'm quite a strong person, but I tell you this much, I wouldn't trust any of them as far as I could throw them. I don't believe a word they say, and the fact that the governments are going to extreme lengths to cover up here is very interesting. There are several people who they try to avoid mentioning altogether, and I'll insert his photograph here. Why? Why? Why are we not allowed to mention him? And there are many others who have been involved in this. They might not be so well protected, but it's not good, is it? It's really not good. I wonder what you thought of that reading. Let me know. Put your comments in the box below. It is just a pendulum reading, but it's interesting. Do you believe what the pendulum has to say? Thank you very much, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.